AlHalabi, Head of Marketing at Balad Football Club, accompanied by my colleagues, Dr. Alejandro Sánchez Vara, Director of Sports, and Moammar Alhammad, Head of Operations. Today's topic is coming from the youngest football club currently in Saudi Arabia, but we find it that it's disrupting the industry on a very global level, and here we are taking the challenge. As you can see, and the title reveals, we're all about fan engagement. So I'm going to start with Moammar. Can you dig directly into the core of the issue?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Aya, for the introduction. Appreciate you all guys for coming here. Essentially, if you want to start talking about sort of the essence of this club and the main issue that we wanted to tackle when founding this club is the idea of fan engagement. Now, we split it into different sort of sections of what that means. What does fan engagement mean to us? And the first section that we sort of tackled, and we think one of the most important ones, is sort of the art of storytelling. So storytelling as a club, right, it's been a part of us in humans, you know, whenever we want to share experiences with one another, you know, since the start of cavemen's, religious scriptures, we're talking about anything is sort of the idea of this telling a story is embedded in us, right, as humans. And we sort of took this idea and sort of ran with it, and we realized that in different industries, for example, you see this art of storytelling change and shift throughout decades, right? If you look at music, if you look at movies, you can tell like a movie is done in the last 10 years, or a new movie, or if you see a movie 50 years ago, the art of storytelling is very different. And when we talk specifically about football, generally, the progression of the storytelling medium doesn't really change that much, right? And that kind of progression, or that lack of progression in football and how stories are being told about the game is something we really wanted to focus on in Balad FC. And I guess my friend Alejandro, right, you've been in football for over 20 years now. So if you want to talk specifically about the art of progression of storytelling in football and your opinions on it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Moammar. Thank you for being here. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that what has been happening in the past 10 years with the football clubs in terms of sharing the information of what's happening in the day-by-day of their lives have not been empowered as it can be done, no? So when we are speaking about football industry, many of the professionals involved are speaking about these situations of football crisis where we are not connecting really well with the youth or the new generations in that sense, no? For me, an example, if we want to compare what's happening in the football clubs related to football players itself, no? When you go to the social media profiles of the biggest football players, they are stronger than what football clubs are doing. And obviously, there is a natural relation between human beings and this concept of superhero that maybe the football players are representing in this century. But in any case, it's showing that football clubs are a group of superheroes to get together. And in the past years, I think, my feeling is that they have not been able to use on their total power the potentiality of having this group of people that people want to follow related to different reasons. No?
Yeah, it's definitely very clear that the change in consumer behavior is just shaping communication across multiple industries, but that's something we still can't see in the football industry. People crave instant gratification, short form of news. They are always seeking for new ways of entertainment, and that's something in the club we focus on. There's a lack of community building. There's a lack of face-to-face interactions that is beyond the field. What happens outside the game? That's something that we've been trying to tackle. Moammar, if you can dig more into the events aspect.
Absolutely. So essentially, when we see football clubs around the world, the main focus sort of the verticals they focus on is that 90 minutes of the game and how engaged are the fans within this 90 minutes of football. And when we look at it as a club, we want to look at different verticals where we can engage these fans in sort of around and revolving the 90 minutes of football, but you have all these other events and experiences and activations that could help with the process of engaging with a club as a fan, rather than just focusing on the 90 minutes of football, and that's all you get as a fan from supporting a certain club, right? So that sort of focus and that idea of having different verticals to focus on is something we've embedded in this club, start moving on when it comes to events outside of football, community building, sort of activations, all these kind of things is at the cornerstone of us starting this club. And I think that goes into this idea of not just focusing on 90-minute football game, but rather all the different things you can do as a club.
Exactly, and our name is World Balad. We represent one of the most passionate communities in Jeddah. So we can only be as active as the community that really loves the sport and be there with them on ground, regardless what happens on field. Yeah.
I think that there have been some issues in the evolution of the football industry that are happening in the past years related to, for example, these concepts of having these multi-owner ships, clubs, where the same company or the same private persons, they are having different clubs around the world. It's happening, and in Spain, for example, where I'm coming from, that sometimes nowadays the clubs are getting far and distance from the same fan, from the same local people that they were following the club. No, this is something that my feeling is that need to be changed, and at the same time, the football clubs until now they have living or they have not been taking care in relation of this communication, how it is created. They are more kind of contacting content creators or platforms that are specialized, but they are not taking care really from inside on what are the stories that they want to tell. And for sure nowadays, young people, they are interested on it, not only on the 90 minutes game that is happening on the weekend, but what is happening during the week for preparing this game in terms of the relation of the players, in terms of the relation between technical staff and the football players, and obviously what is happening after the game in terms of performance analysis or the meetings of the managers. And this need to be shared in kind of a weekly basis.
Yeah, definitely. Something that we feel that other clubs are missing, even the biggest names in the world, is that they still treat their sharing news as, or any even communication form, as something that has to be very always victorious, powerful, well-shaped, without really sharing with the fans the truth behind it. And that's where, as Al-Balad FC, we really build on reality TV. So our fan base definitely has exclusive access to beyond what happens during the game. And yeah, we have a small clip for you that might get you inside what's being happening.
خلي تركي يشوت ولا تغير زاويتك قول له اهدى ولا توضحها.
We are new. We are not only in our first year, but we are in our first month and a half. But what I know for sure, if you are able to move forward, go through the bad moments that you are going to be living, we will be successful in the years to come. For me, the correct steps in terms of bringing great names and doing a huge investment in the professional league and trying to position the pro league inside this group of top leagues around the world. But at the same time, obviously, when we speak about football, we are speaking about football development, and we are speaking about people involved in training process, people involved in competition, people trying to become better. Now, obviously, there is need to be strategies that for sure the FA is starting to put on the table, like, for example, developing the U10, the U11, the U12 categories, that this need to be happening. But at the same time, for me, my vision, when I have been in this many years and in the educational context, no, and people, we discuss why Spanish football is so strong. Many of the reasons they are going always to, because we have Barcelona and Real Madrid, or because the training process, no? For me, one of the key aspects of why Spanish football is so strong is about volume. It's about numbers. It's the number of football clubs and teams that they are involved in the same structure of the industry. And this is what I feel that we are trying to do here, trying to bring more people inside the structure of the Saudi football. For me, one of the goals, it's in the next years to come, being kind of a motivation for the people in this country to say, okay, we can start a football project This can be done. Obviously, we are going to be showing how it is happening, and we will like to see many new football clubs in this year, because this will mean that the football structure in Saudi is growing.
And if I can go off that, Alex, I think we've had many conversations about this before, and you always mention how the smallest teams in Spain, whether it's under 12, under 10, all of them play around 30, 40 games a year. And the volume and the sheer amount of games that these players be playing since young age is really the key factor of developing this talent when it comes to top level in Spain. And I think the reason why we wanted to start this club in Saudi Arabia is because we want to be part of this movement of developing the 2034 World Cup, right? And allowing teams and allowing people to see and have access to how to even start this football club from scratch, recording everything and sharing it in a reality TV context where you're part of the event, that you get to see what happened last week of this club in a very, very exclusive access, is sort of the reason why we're doing a reality TV show in Saudi, to sort of show that way of progress very early on. And you get exclusive, absolutely exclusive access that no other club is showing in that way.
Definitely. To add on this, just something that we were also discussing, that we're trying to kind of shift the curve here towards more fan engagement with football clubs, but this is something that we can't really do on our own. It requires us all to start looking into the industry differently and trying to do things more within what the consumer demands now from us. Guys, I actually, before this, two wonderful people from you asked us a question, and I was like, we'll answer them on stage. So dropping this on you.
Okay.
Feel free to answer. Some of our wonderful audience here, they asked us about our sporting goals. We definitely have these.
Okay, I will
Can
take
you
this.
summarize them?
I will take this. So in terms of goal, what we want obviously is we want to reach the Pro League. We'll be in the Premier Saudi League, no? This is for sure. But we are not an institution that we feel that we need to be there as soon as possible. Our idea of club, with the ideas that we have been sharing now, is that one of the situations is that this fan engagement in terms of how you are related to the people that are following you. And we want to create that, and we want to create that in the sense of we are starting from below, from scratch, from Division 4, that is the lowest in this country, inside Federation, and we will be showing our victories and obviously our defeats, and in that sense, in the moment that we are showing that from the senior team, we are going to be creating our academy. We will have, obviously, women's section too, and all the different departments and structures of what a classical and a big football club has. Sure.
Wonderful. One last question that I received is, I think Moammar, you can jump on this, is there reality TV hurdles that we face? Because there's no blueprint for this. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Are there hurdles we face in reality TV with football? Absolutely. It's nothing but hurdles. Because again, it's not like we can see. We always talk about it in the management, right? We wish somebody else did it first, so we can learn from their mistakes and see what they did, and we can fix it.
Our lives are easier, yeah.
Makes our lives a lot easier. But the fact that we started it first, and you're giving so much access and so much production behind it, and that gives a lot of challenges because you have to make a lot of mistakes. And the next video that we launch on YouTube, or the next episode that we release on YouTube, is always going to be our best episode, because we've learned from the small sample that we did before. And I would say that's sort of the main challenge that we have, is that nobody else has done it before. So you have to be very creative and really learn on your mistakes very quickly when it comes to reality TV.
Yeah. And when we're saying reality TV, just to clarify it, we're not talking end-of-year documentary, edited, polished. This is not scripted. We really don't know what's going to happen on the next episode. So that's a very big point for us to try to go around with no narration and see how it goes.
And how current it is as well. So the reality TV means you're seeing things that had just happened.
Yeah.
You're not waiting a full year to get released. For example, you watch a show, finish the season, then you have to wait 2 years to watch the next season. It's not the same. This happened last week, 2 weeks ago, now you're watching it live. Very, very exciting, very different stuff.
Definitely. Anything you'd like to add?
I
mean, we're here. Would you like to ask us any questions? We'll be available right after the panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.